Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare live chat. We do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And take all questions and discussion topics homesteading related. So let's get started. Please keep comments family friendly, and I'll scroll up at the top. You guys are always here before me. Hope everybody's day is going well. Oh, PJ is probably missing tonight. Oh no, have COVID and very tired. You all are in my thoughts. PJ, I hope you get better soon. I really, really, really do, because that sucks. I was tired yesterday. I don't know if I was just doing too many things or not, but I feel better today, so that's good. There you go. Yeah, so PJ, take it easy. Go sleep. Brenna's here, Vase Place. You'll see her in blue with a little wrench, and she is my moderator, catches all the bad guys. If you live in an apartment and want to grow food, check out her channel. All right, and Joy's here. Hello, all from Western Oregon. Hi, Joy. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And Dawn's here. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. I saw your pictures of your micro tomatoes, and that's pretty darn cool. Tomatoes now. All right, PJ, if you're still listening, everybody's giving you well wishes. Joy has 19 chicks hatched out so far today. Awesome. How many do you have in the brooder? Or how many made it to the brooder? Or not brooder, incubator. Sorry. That is awesome. Congratulations. My quail are starting to lay eggs again after their interruption. I honestly don't know if the interruption was us sifting all the compost for several days, if it was the cold or something else. I don't know. But that is, I think there's 3 options. Maybe there's a big storm too at that point. Anyway, they are starting to lay again. There's 3 ladies that's been laying a couple days in a row. And then hopefully the rest will catch up soon. And our babies that hatched, the quail, are going to be 8 weeks old in a couple days. So they will be ready. All right. Verna just started growing oyster mushrooms. That is awesome. You know, I ordered some mushroom bricks, blocks, however you call it, last year, and then I never did anything with them. It's been a year. I have them in the garage. I'm kind of tempted to just try it, see if it works. You guys think it'll work? Anyway, I'm going to try. I got a bunch of them too. Like, if it doesn't work, it was a waste of money. But that's all on me. Anyway, I'm going to try it and see if it works a year later. It should. I mean, I think it should. It just depends whether or not they got too hot in the garage over the summer. All right. And Dawn says, oh, cool, Verna, did you get a kit? Yes. Steve says, I'm on time. Who is not on time? I don't know. I haven't seen Andy Rabbit yet, since you guys are competing. Welcome, Steve. Verna says, after Matt's live stream, I ordered the triple kit. LOL. We'll grow one at a time. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I ordered a bunch of, I don't even remember where from, and I started a video on it, and then I just didn't grow them. So maybe I'll finish that video. We'll see. We'll see. All right. And Verna got seeds from Dawn today. Awesome. Are those the micro tomatoes? Hopefully. Hey, Erica's here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Erica. We haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're doing really well, and I hope your property's doing really well. Yeah, let us know how it's going. Good to see you. And Erin says, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Are you guys done with winter? Your 2 weeks of winter, whatever it was. We have a flood watch Wednesday and Thursday here. So video tomorrow is going to be about me getting ready for that, which is not nearly like what Aaron did for his animals. I mean, for the cold and stuff. We're not getting cold. We're just getting water, which we've already had. But I figured I'd do a video on it. That's what tomorrow's video is. All right. Dawn says, I planted 6 more things today for hydroponics, from parsley to tomato. Awesome. Very cool. John, do you use extra nutrients? Is there like a nutrient blend that you add to the water? Like, how does that work? All right. Ken says, I set 2 different alarms to wake up for show. Ken, you're dedicated. I like it. Oh boy. Ken, are you going to the Scion Exchange in Sacramento? That's a question, because I know that you're in Sacramento County. Or you're there, Linda's there, and Vicky's there, but I don't know if Linda and Vicky are on here. But yeah, thank you. Ooh, Verna, you're fighting a migraine, still here. If you need to hop off, do it. We are good. We are good. And yeah, hoping you're better soon. Joy forgot to count. It's okay. You just count the ones that don't hatch, right? Sometimes it's easier to count the ones that don't hatch than the one that hatch. Oh boy. Aaron says, I'm on the lookout for a good deal right now. Goats? Are we talking goats, Aaron? Hey, Ed's here. Hi, everyone. Hope all's well. Hi, Ed. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Hope there's no more drama over there, and your house is coming along. Yeah. Have to soak the block 8 to 10 hours. Yep. Yeah. So that's what I have. I got excited about it. Now I was like, oh, if you buy more, it costs less. That mentality with plants and, eating things. That's, yeah, fun. Mushrooms too, apparently. Anyway, and they're still in the garage. So good luck to you, Verna, and wish me luck. Sorry, I just realized my phone has sound, but I don't need it to right now. Okay. All right. Oh, I took a nap. That's good. I took a nap yesterday, and I am not a napper. If I take a nap, it means that I've been stressed and the stress has passed, usually. But I think I was just exhausted yesterday. Yeah, I'm not a napper. Awesome, Dawn. Micro tomato seeds to Verna and Christina. Awesome. Yeah, they looked really cool. That's very good. Oh, Erica's been very busy with property and new grandbaby. Congratulations. Hey, Jennifer. Welcome. Good evening, Katrina and everyone else. Hey, Katrina, do you know when baby kits start eating pellets? So I'm gonna back up because I don't think it was Jennifer that asking a couple weeks ago. Somebody else was asking, I think, about when I rebreed. I said 2 weeks. When they're 2 weeks old, I meant 3 weeks old. You can do 2 weeks old, but I do 3 weeks old. So I wanted to clear that up. When they start eating pellets, so today is day 14 for my babies right now, and I just saw one out of the nesting box, which means I need to go and put in a little step. I'll do that after the live. I put it back in and all that. But that is something, whenever they start getting out of the nest box, they're going to see what mom's doing and they're going to copy her. So they're going to start nibbling and just mouthing things. And then eventually they'll be eating pellets as well. And they can eat pellets really as soon as they're coming out of the nesting box. They're already eating hay, some of it, when they're in the nesting box. And, you can see the hay disappearing. And like mine is a big mess and jumble of hay and fur right now. They mixed it pretty well. But yeah, so I would say probably 2.5, 3 weeks old. And then they're nursing. I mean, they'll nurse as long as they can, really. I mean, unless mom stops them from doing that, they'll do it as long as they can. I used to have a mama rabbit, best mama rabbit ever, although Ravioli might be giving her a run for her money. The last batch, one year I left in with them instead of taking them to the grow outs, and they nursed basically almost all the way up to freezer camp time. So they will take advantage as long as mom will let them. She was a very patient mom. So yeah, 2.5, 3 weeks, 2 weeks between, somewhere in there. Once their eyes open, they're going to be wanting to get out of the box because they know, oh my gosh, there's a huge world out there. And then they're going to want to be with mom. They're going to want to chase her down for milk. They're going to want to see what she's doing and eat and drink what she's eating and drinking. So that's when to pay attention to them a lot more, is when they get out of the nest box. So that's the answer, is whenever they start getting out of the nest box, that's when they're doing that. Now, if you are not spending a whole lot of time with them, they may be going out of the nest box without you knowing and then getting back in. I had one batch of Tortellini's babies do that, where I'm like, you guys should be getting out of the nest box by now. You should be getting out. And then finally I saw one day when I was coming up, go shoo, into the nest box. I'm like, oh, you know how to get back in. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Dawn says, so every time I look into mushrooms, you can't start with a kit and keep going. You have to keep buying the kits. Is this true? I don't know the answer. I'm going to give the answer that I understand. So mushrooms are an underground thing. They're not an animal. They're not a plant. They're their own thing. Organism. I don't know, what do we call them that? Anyway, they have a network of underground stuff going on. And what we call mushrooms is actually the fruiting body. So it pushes through, and then I have a mushroom in the refrigerator. Let me go get props. I'll be right back. I didn't know I was buying props. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, I haven't opened this yet. I got it a while ago, which means I should probably have some for dinner tonight. Thanks for telling me I have mushrooms in the refrigerator. All right, so here's a typical store-bought mushroom, right? And I don't know if you know this or not, but I'll tell you how to pick them. If you look on the underside, oh boy. Okay, I have to shade you. If you look on the underside, see how that's all closed up? It doesn't have the little gills in there. Once it has the gills in there, it's gonna not last as long. And so on this kind of mushroom, it would be at white or there. Maybe we can see it then. Man, it is reflecting light from, I don't know what, the screen? Anyway, so when that area gets gills, that's when it releases its spores. So I have known of people growing mushrooms from the store. They sterilize soil, and then when this starts growing, they cut off the stem, set it on a damp paper towel, and let that go in, and then they put it in with the soil. I think that's how they do it. I would have to look it up again, because I did look it up into doing that, and then I got scared about it. But people have been successful with that. So I think what really matters is, can the spores land somewhere that is beneficial for them to grow? And when you get them in the kits, they already have all that they kind of need right there. And I'm assuming that the root part, it's not really roots, but that's what I'm equating them to. The underground part, I'm assuming it's already in that block of sawdust or whatever it is. So that's what I'm assuming is happening. And then when it opens, when those opens and the spore come out, because that is a fruiting body, that's where they get new little ones. They have to land in a place that is hospitable for them to land. And if that is not where you live or where you put them, then they're not going to grow. I know, so we have chanterelles here, and like at my grandma's house, there's chanterelles that are this big. And the sad thing is, I lived with her for like 6 years, and on the very last year that I was there, I found out they were edible. I'm just taking pictures of these huge orange mushrooms, not knowing that they were edible. Should have found out that sooner because they're tasty. In any case, I was looking up how to get them to grow other places and all of that, because they have a symbiotic relationship with oaks specifically, and I think some other things. But the one in my grandma's house had a relationship with a coast live oak, and was underneath that tree and only that tree, and was very specific. So what I was told is that you can, if you rinse them off, save your rinse water, do it in water that's not chlorinated. And then also, if you shave the outer part where the gills are and include that in wherever you're putting it, to do that and to make soil contact, not just on the leaves. And I've done that several times, and I've never had success inoculating an area. Now, I'm not trained in that at all. But were any of these open? Let me go searching through my mushrooms here. I don't think any of them are open. I picked good ones. But that's my assumption, is that you would have to have the correct substrate in order for it to actually continue to grow. So what you're getting, what you're eating. So if we're going to equate fungus with plants, so fungus are not plants, mushrooms are not plants, they're their own thing, they're not plants, they're not animals. I'm going to treat it in this discussion as if it was a plant. So the roots would be underground. That is the main body of the fungi. That is the body, okay? What we see coming up after a rain and a little bit of sun, that little, piece of mushroom would be likened to a fruit. So that's poking through. The body's underground. It's poking through. It's fruiting. And then when it opens, the seeds come out. So they're not called seeds. They're called spores. But that kind of gives you a little bit of idea about, I guess, the biology of that. But then I think the key thing, again, is that it lands in exactly the right place, in exactly the right time, in exactly the right, conditions. So that might be hard to replicate. I know people do inoculate trees with truffles. So like my neighbor has a truffle tree. She bought it already inoculated. I have no idea if she's dug any truffles or not. But yeah. Hopefully that's an answer, and hopefully if you guys know more of that or different than that, go ahead and let us know, because again, I'm using the logic for the things that I know to pass along my assumptions. You guys know my thought process now. All right. Verna says, with all the rain you have been having, don't you think they should have already issued that warning? The flood watch, they issue that all the time. Yeah, it's something that it's been going on. Like sometimes they have an aerial flood watch, which means, hey guys, there's so much water falling from the sky, we're gonna have puddles before it hits the ground. Basically, we had a lot of that last year. There's flash flood watches, and a watch is different than a warning. I mean, again, this watch is for Wednesday and Thursday. Today's Monday, so they're basically saying, hey guys, plan ahead, here's what's coming up. A warning is, this is happening right now. A watch is, we're going to look for these things, kind of like tornado warnings and watches. Yeah. So yeah, they've already issued it for this coming week, but then in the previous times that's happened as well. We haven't had, I don't think we've had a flood. Okay, here's the thing. I have been paying attention to weather up in Pleasanton because I'm paying attention for a job up there that we can or can't do work up there. and that's a ways away. And so I haven't actually been paying attention to the weather here. I just figure it's going to be similar to there. And so, yeah, there you go. I don't know if that answers your question. All right. Aaron says, Katrina, will it flood there? Are you going to give us creek updates again? I thought about going to the creek the other day when it poured. I thought about going out there and I just didn't. But yeah, I can do that. We'll check out on Wednesday. Well, maybe Wednesday night because I'm out Wednesday evening. But yeah, I might go and check it out Wednesday night, and then Thursday night probably. I can do that. We can do that. We haven't had the major rains that we have had like last year. Last year it was just like bam, bam, bam. And I don't expect to flood here. I don't expect to flood here at all. I'm in the 200-year flood zone. So basically, the 100-year flood zone is where you need flood insurance for. And 100-year flood zone, someone can correct me or say this better. But 100-year flood zone is that you have a 1% chance each year. Each year, there's a 1% chance that you'll flood. And a 200-year flood zone, I think, is half that. I think it's 0.5%, but I don't remember. And basically where I am in the flood zone is, I believe, a reservoir that's quite a ways away, and they've done some levee work since that was established. So I don't think I'm in any danger. Yeah, but you always want to make sure that your animals are good and your drains are good and all of that. So that's what that's about. All right. Dawn says, I do use nutrients. Personally, the easiest way for me is MaxiGrow or MaxiBloom. Powders you dissolve without paying to buy it already in the water. Okay, you're paying for water. So same thing with like detergent, clothing detergent and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Jennifer says, Verna, hope you're feeling better. Ditto. we all hope that as well, Verna. Ken says, check with your county offices for free sandbags. Yep, I'm not in an area that is expected to flood. The area around, maybe. The streets will probably get backed up there's certain corners that always get backed up whenever we have these warnings or whenever we have these watches. There's, there's places like where they keep the sign that says flooded. Like they just keep it right there. Just, okay, we're not going to address the issue and clean out the drain. We're just going to put a sign here. Anyway, that's probably everywhere, right? Yeah. Long as you hear you're good, Verna. Good. Hey, Guido's Family Farm. Hi, Christina. She says, hey, everyone. Welcome. Feather Connections Homestead. Kelly's here. Hey, Kelly. Welcome. All right. The name. So, Ken, this is what you're going to want to look up. I'm putting it in here. crfg.org. And scroll down to the Scion Exchange. Scion Exchange. And click on that. And then you can go to the Sacramento County one. I don't remember what it is, but you can take a look at that, and it's going to be fun. All right. All right. Joy says, I count the living chicks. That's all that matters to me. Yep. Oh, Kelly's being sneaking in. Jennifer asked, do they drink water? Are you talking about the rabbits? Yes. So they will do what Mom does. So whatever she does, they will follow, and they will learn to drink out of whatever Mom's drinking. So yeah, they will. I think that happens about the same time when they start doing pellets, just because they're out and like exploring around, and they're like, oh, what's this thing? Oh, Mom's doing that, maybe I'll do that. And they're like, oh, this is water, this is good. Yeah. Yep. Dawn says, I look at them as spores. Because they are, Dawn. I was trying to make a relatable thing for people that don't know mushrooms. Yes. Verna says, with the back to roots organic mushroom growing kits, after the first side is spent, you can start with the back side all over again. Okay, so they just do it on all sides. That's good. That's good. Yeah, and so Dawn's saying, can you flip it and then flip it again? That's an interesting question. Yeah, try it. Try it. All right, we're going to put a link for mushrooms. It's good. Andy Rabbit's here. Hello. Hello. Welcome, welcome. We did have a little baby out of the nest box today, and I put it back. So I am going to, after the live, go out and figure out what I want to do for a step. Usually I just put a bunch of hay right there, and that's enough for them to, just a little edge to get back in. With the way that Ravioli has her nest box, though, like, I put it back against the back. That's how I do it. I like to have, so they give her more room, like, to kind of run around or whatever. And she has pushed it up. Every time I push it back, she's like, no, it needs to go over here. I'm like, fine, you can have your nest box in the middle. I just have to count how many babies are there. It's easier to see how many babies there are when it's up against the edge, but she doesn't want it there. So obviously I'm wrong. So yeah, she is, because it's such a small space between the front of the nest box and the wall, I don't know how well that might do. I might just do that. Anyway, there we go. Little babies. Their eyes are open. I haven't checked all of them yet, but their eyes are opening. Yeah. Dawn says, thanks, Verna. I got the link. I've studied a lot ways or brands, including just getting very expensive. Oh, syringe of mushroom stuff. Mushroom stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so you can also inoculate logs, and I know that people do that, and it seems to me once they're inoculated, they're there, but I don't know how often they have to be re-inoculated or if they stay. I would like to learn more. Unfortunately, I don't live in an area that has enough moisture. Maybe I do. I don't know. It would be nice to have a space like in a wooded area to just have some logs and do that, or have some other ground. The other thing about mushrooms too, some of them grow off of wood and some of them don't. Like the chanterelles, if you see it growing off of wood, it's not a chanterelle. It is something else that you shouldn't eat. So if it's growing out of the ground, that's the relationship it has the tree with the roots, not with the actual wood. So you have to know what you're doing if you're doing wild stuff. And really, there's only two wild ones that I trust myself to forage at this point, and that is chanterelles and morels. Yeah. All right. Andy Rabbit's battery is almost dead. You love mushroom talk too. All right. Andy Rabbit says, if my tree ever gets cut, I'm going to use some branches to grow mushrooms and some wine caps in the wood mulch it leaves behind. I wish I knew more about mushrooms. Yeah. Berna says, I need to video about the river behind me. Oh, yeah. It's high right now? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, did my link not show up as a link? Probably because I didn't do www, right? CRF. Oh, I didn't even do the right thing. CRFG. California Rare Fruit Growers.org. Okay, try that again. Sorry. Typo. Weather Connection says, sorry, I'm here listening as I clean quail skulls. It's a dirty job, but my oddities, people pay good money for them. Awesome. 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 Good. And yeah, Aaron's agreeing. Do a video about the river. Absolutely. Mushrooms grow all over here on trees, wood, in grass, just everywhere. Hubby goes mushroom hunting sometimes, Dawn says. Yeah, we get mushrooms. There's a lot of different mushrooms. It's just I don't know all of the all the different types. And then also, since I've had the wood chips, that has brought in so much. And it's really amazing because, you know, the more mushrooms you have in your yard or your garden, your forest, whatever, the more interconnected those plants are. And it's like a highway underground. It's awesome. It's awesome. I got chicken of the woods. I still have some frozen, but you can fry them and they taste like steak. Well, that's a good way to grow some steak. Yeah, I need to actually do those. I need to clear off the table over the freezer because I was going to do it there and do a couple at a time. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, you guys ready to get into topic of discussion? We can talk more mushrooms in a bit. I figure we could start this. So our topic of discussion today, special topic, is best advice to first-time gardeners. And if you are already a gardener and you know what you're doing, what I'd like you to do is put in the comments your best advice to first-time gardeners. And then if you are a first-time gardener or a person who's never gardened before, ask questions. And we can have a dialogue about that, hopefully. And hopefully people watching this after will get a little bit out of that, which is good. Yeah. So my number one tip, which I already talked about in the video that from the other day, is to know your first frost date and your last frost date. And you can simply type that into the internet, put your zip code, and type first frost date, last frost date, and the answer will pop up. And so then you know your growing season, and that is probably the most important thing to know if you're doing vegetable gardening, is to know when you can plant things. And then you look on the back of a seed packet and you can say, okay, well, when's my last frost date? When's my first frost date? When can I plant this seed? And most seed packets will have that information on there as well. So that is my top tip. My other top tip is to know your planting zone and your chill hours. And again, all you have to do is type into the internet your zip code and say chill hours. And then also, again, your zip code and USDA planting zone. And those three things will give you a lot of information to go by and to get started with. You know what you can grow and how long your growing season is and all of that. So, yeah. Dawn says, buy seeds that grow in your zone, humidity or droughts. Experiment to find out what grows in your area. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you have a humid area, get seeds that are good for humidity. If you have a dry area, get seeds that are good for dry area. And then you might even ask what other people are growing. So, hey, neighbor, what are you growing? What does well? There you go. Erica says, best advice, don't try to grow everything. Start small and increase your garden over time. There you go. I would alter that to say, if you know what garden space you want to use, go ahead and set that aside. You don't have to plant it all at once, but the actual space you can set aside, and then as you increase your space, go ahead and do that. Yeah, there you go. Dawn says, when I moved here, computers didn't have zones. Old timers told us by Mother's Day. And that's exactly it. So using regional cues. So where I grew up, I think it was on Mount Jefferson, a rabbit would appear. So the snow would melt to a certain point that you could see a rabbit on the mountain. I never actually saw it as a rabbit, but use your imagination, right? And that was when you were supposed to plant. So that's a weather-based planting. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, listening to old timers, listen, because oh my gosh, people know things. People, especially if they've been on that land or on the neighboring land. I mean, they'll be able to say, hey, no, that area floods, don't plant there. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, my advice is to try it and keep trying it till you get it. Don't give up. Try it in different places in your yard. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you might even try a different variety of something. You know, if some variety is just not working for you, try it in different places, try it different times of year, but maybe at the same time, try a different variety of the same thing. Yeah. So Verna says, best advice is to find out what others in your area love to grow. Then you know what is good for your area. Absolutely. Absolutely. And talk to them. Becomes friends with them. And even if they save their seeds and you're able to get some of their seeds, then those seeds will be better adapted for your area, which is super, super cool. Because that will get you way ahead in the game. And it'll be really, really good, because once that seed has been adapted over years, it becomes really, really good for your specific region. Yeah. Andy Rabbit, that was JJ. That was JJ. That did that. I have them. I need to ask her when is a good time to plant them. That's another thing. When you get seeds from someone, make sure you know when to plant them and how to take care of them. Yeah. There you go. Gidra says plants die. Yeah. I see a lot of people wondering why their plants are dying, but it's just completed its life cycle. Yeah. I have a really funny story. That's probably embarrassing for my brother, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I went to his house. This is not the house they're in now, but when he was, yeah. So he had a house, and it was a very small yard, and we went and visited, and he had raspberries in the backyard. And I was like, oh, you have raspberries? He goes, I do. He didn't know that spiky thing over there had raspberries, and he was pulling them out. Right next to the raspberries, there was a really tall annual weed of some sort that was dead, and it was bungee corded to the fence. I said, what's this? He said, oh, that was a tree. I wanted to save it, so I put it on the fence, but then it died. So know what you have around you. If you're having trouble identifying something, ask someone. That way you don't end up bungee cording a weed to your fence and think it's a tree. Yeah, they die. So some plants die. And here's another thing. I mean, you'll see my yard, you'll see other people's yards, you'll see, tons of people's yards, especially on YouTube, when you see people's hey, here's a garden. I try and be real with you guys. A lot of people do, a lot of people don't. A lot of people, clean up their garden before, which, it's nice. It's nice to do. But when you see a video and everything's pristine and everything's growing well, everybody kills plants. Everybody does it. Everybody buys something at the nursery, brings it home, accidentally leaves it in the car, or says, I'll plant this tomorrow, and forgets to water it. Everybody does these things. Another tip from me to first-time gardeners is put in an automatic watering system, and then annually change the batteries. That automatic watering system will make you kill less plants, but you will kill plants. I've killed many plants. I'm not very proud of it, but it happens. So there you go. Andy Rapp says, I can't remember who gave me the rice seeds. It's JJ. Yeah, she was on a couple weeks ago. But yeah, JJ is the person who is doing that. Verna says, rotate where you grow your plants. It will help fight against bugs and diseases. Yes. So if you rotate from year to year, or you can also just interplant amongst each other, and that will also hide that. So that's pretty cool. Hey, Val says, hey, everyone. Hope you're all good. Welcome, welcome. We are giving our best advice to first-time gardeners. And if you are not already a gardener, if you would like to ask some questions about gardening, now's the time, because at least in my climate, we got to think about planting soon. I know Christina's already planted, but that's because you have a special growing area, even though we're in the same zone. No, I do have stuff growing outside. I'm hoping all this rain won't rot my pea seeds like they did several years ago. All right. Andy Rabbit says, okay, I was thinking it was either Eric or JJ. Yep, it was JJ. All right. We are a special kind of crazy, Val says. Oh. Yeah, Christina. She says, ha, I show our weeds. Yeah, just bragging that you can grow stuff. Even weeds, right? No, I mean, that brings up a good thing, is that when you have weeds, if you can get to them right away, if you can't, it happens. I mean, I have so much grass in my yard right now, and I've started feeding it to, I mean, the chickens got a huge clump of grass today, and they finished it. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys must really want greens. So I give that to the chickens and the quail, and I haven't really given to the rabbits yet, but I probably should. I don't want to give them too much because I don't want to give them too much moisture, but I know I might be a wuss about that. Andy Rabbit says, plant in a rabbit poo. You will even less plants, even lose plants. I don't know what you're saying, Andy Rabbit. I think you had to autocorrect. Buster says hi to all. Hi, Buster. Welcome. We're talking about our best advice to first-time gardeners. What's your best advice? Christina says, I have to get back in the greenhouse tomorrow, so more videos on the way. Awesome. My nasturtiums that I planted have just come up, and more nasturtiums that seeded themselves are up, of course, in the pathway. They're doing very well. They don't tend to transplant well, so I step around them. What Manuel does is he walks through them. I know I ask him not to, but I step around them, and that will happen until they die. And because they're not in an area that gets watered, they don't last through the summer. So that's what my goal is, to put water to the area in the front where I did plant them, and then they will hopefully last longer into the summer. That's my hope. Yeah. So that is the advice. Val or Buster, do you have advice or questions about gardening? I think everybody else has said something. I don't know. I can't excuse you yet. No. I don't grow a large garden now. Lots of herbs, Val says. Hey, herbs are the most expensive thing. So that would be good advice, is if you want to save money, start with herbs. I would say herbs and greens and strawberries, or berries in general, because herbs are expensive. Greens and berries have the most pesticides used on them in commercial growing. And so if I was to start and I didn't have that much space, that's what I would grow. So herbs, because of cost, and you can control the flavor of it. So for herbs, if you pick when it hasn't been watered, then it's going to have a stronger flavor. If you pick after it's been watered, it's going to have a watered down flavor, basically, which is still going to be good. It's going to be good either way. And homegrown herbs, nothing like it. Nothing like it. Yeah. So that's my that's my little tip there. Oh, big comfrey patch. I have comfrey, and I have wanted to split it, and I haven't done that. I was going to do a comfrey, what was it called? A comfrey tea last year. I was going to do it, and then Manuel cut his finger and chaos ensued. So I didn't get to that this year, but that's okay. Comfrey is wonderful. Eric, thank you for the super sticker. You're such a good guy. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Hope your therapy's going good. Moving, walking. It's good. Thank you. All right. Everybody's saying hi. All right. Any more gardening tips? Tips for first-time gardeners. I think we went through a lot of them. Yeah, growing herbs is really much easier than you think as well, and you can actually do a lot of rootings. So like if you find, you know how they have like those little packages of live, I mean, it's not like, I don't think they have them with roots, but like where there's rosemary and there's like mints and all sorts of stuff, and they're in this little package and they look really green because it's, you know, been spritzed with water in there. Then that actually, you can root those and it'll do just fine. And so that's something that you can get really, you know, if you don't have access to the actual plants and you don't want to start seeds, that's another alternative way of doing it. And a lot of herbs can be grown that way. Yeah. Amy's here. You made it. Awesome. I know, Amy, you've been following the baby bunnies on the shorts. 2 weeks old today. And one of them, when I was just outside before the live, one of them got out of the nest box hopping around. So I have to, after this, I have to go out there and put some, I think I'm going to put some hay as a step outside so it can go back in. And then I'll probably check it like midnight again and make sure it goes back in. Because that is a danger of a baby getting out too early, is that they don't keep warm by themselves, you know, on the wire and all that. So they do need some cuddle time with their siblings. And so that's, I'm going to be putting a step for them. But eyes are opening and everything. Yeah. Good. Eric says, I'm well. Not in the ER this time. Yay. Good path. Keep that path going. Good. And Verna's advice for first-time gardeners is don't be afraid. Just do it. Absolutely. Oh, Eric says, hi, Dawn. You're my favorite part of the day. You're awesome. Buster says, I need to grow herbs. Awesome. Buster, what kind of herbs do you want to grow? Because there's so many herbs you can take cuttings of. You can do air layering if you have a friend that has them, and you know, you can air layer, and once the roots are established, then cut it off. That's also good. Yeah. So that is good. I want to know what you want to grow, and there's a whole bunch of herbs that you can grow that you might not think of. If you're in a hot area, you can grow cloves. It's a tree. I thought about it. I was like, ooh, what else can I grow? And I looked up what cloves was, and I'm like, I don't need a whole tree full of cloves. It's the flower bud. So, but if you're in a warm area and you have room, hey, do that and sell, you know, fresh cloves. You might be able to do that where you are. Anyway. Amy says, my friend got a mini satin. Is that a rabbit? A mini satin. That sounds really soft. Steve, I feel like you're like going into the ring. Why did the fox go across the road? I don't know. The fox go across the road to get the chicken. Because the chicken did. Val says, I grow a lot around the chicken enclosure and they take what they need. Lemon balm seems to be the most desirable. Oh, they eat the lemon balm. That's interesting. My favorite tea out of my yard is lemon balm, hot and spicy oregano, and chocolate mint. Now, if you have not had hot and spicy oregano, you need it in your life. It is a much different oregano, has tons of flavor, and is wonderful. It's the only oregano I grow. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, last summer I said to my plants, sorry, it's too hot to drag the water hose. I went around that side of the house after it cooled down, everything planted in rabbit poop was still alive, and within a few weeks, all the tomato plants were flowering, and I got a nice fall crop of tomatoes. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Poo for the win. That is awesome. Amy says, "Oh no, Steve is telling dad jokes." I know. He's trying to compete with Eric. It's not going to work. Eric's going to win. Free chicken. That's the answer. I was close. I was close. Yaro is showing signs of life again. Verna says, yeah, I sent our Yaro last year, right? Little babies that had seeded that year. I don't think mine's coming back yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it started soon. I did see today, and I forgot to film it, but I will tomorrow. My tulips are popping up. So again, I haven't separated them at all. My plans were to separate them. Same thing with the daffodils. It just doesn't happen. But Yaro is an excellent plant, and also is a it is a coagulant. Is that what we call it? It stops bleeding, which is pretty cool. It used to be called Warrior's Wart or Carpenter's Wart because they bring it with them in case they got a cut or an injury and put it on there. Pretty cool. Amy says, I'm hiding lemon balm way in the back so the spouse doesn't see it. Do they eat it a lot? Or do they not like it? Oh, satin is a descendant of a Havana. Okay. They sound very soft. Yeah. Quail like lemon balm too. See, my lemon balm is in my front yard, so the animals don't get it. Plus, it doesn't get watered, so it is more small, but it's also more concentrated in flavor. And then what they get a lot of is marjoram, because I have a big marjoram plant right outside the main aviary. And so, proximity counts for something. They get a lot of that. They love it. Yeah. My hot and spicy oregano also doesn't get water. Well, both of those get a little bit water from my neighbor's yard, but not a whole lot. Buster said, I planted garlic in the fall, would like to grow mint and dill. Awesome. Chocolate mint is wonderful. I don't know if you've had that or not. Chocolate mint's wonderful. Mine didn't come back this last year, and I was very upset about that because it was like beautiful. The whole front box underneath the tree, it was a ground cover underneath the trees, and it was wonderful. But it didn't come back. But at the Scion exchange I went to, someone brought some chocolate mint, like root runners, and so I grabbed some of those, and so I will be reestablishing my mint, probably in a pot and out there where it was. Now, the Claytonia, the miner's lettuce has taken over out there, and that's fine. But yeah. Anyway, and dill, I have not been successful with dill. I was successful last year with a couple of them, and I honestly, I don't know. Dill is such a great seasoning. If you match dill with cayenne with eggs, that's awesome. And it should be easy to grow. That's just something I haven't learned yet how to grow, apparently. I left the one dill that did really well. I didn't even eat, I got a couple of pieces, but I didn't touch it really because I wanted it to self-sow, and then nothing came up. So anyway, there you go. Do it. And then tell me your secret about dill. Amy says, yes, a rabbit. Some of the hair has translucent shafts, so it looks very shiny. These babies of Percy's, they are much more shiny than the previous black rabbits that we had. And they just seem a lot more shiny. I'm wondering if they have something similar with that. Yeah. Val says, oh, I will try their oregano. I've got about 30 different mints. Ooh. Yeah, if you can get, I don't know what you have over where you are, but if you can get hot and spicy oregano, that's the name. It's an awesome one. There's so many different kinds. Andy Rabbit says they are really pretty furred rabbits. Oh, and asking Amy, what color is it? Yeah. Cool. Verna says, Yeppers, I see a couple springs of green, even the one in the green stalk. That's good. And Quail love Yaro too. That's good. And Amy says, Yaro is a hemostatic. So is cayenne. I didn't know that about cayenne. But it makes for better language. The spouse swears lemon balm will take over the world because it's a mint. I got it. Depending on where you are, it will or won't, right? I've seen people like in very humid areas that it's just all over the yard. And for my yard, I planted it in the front corner and it hasn't really moved at all. So yeah, I think it depends on your climate, but it is a mint. What do you use chocolate mint in? I use it in tea. I have made mint jelly with it, but I don't typically use mint jelly in the way that it's meant to be used on, I think, pork or something. I'm not much of a pork fan. I like bacon, sausage. That's kind of weird thing to put on meat, I think. But yeah, tea is mostly what I use it for. And then I also did use the dried one. I still have some dried chocolate mint. And oh my gosh, you open up that, I seal it every time with a vacuum sealer. And every time I open up, it's just like this poof of just loveliness. Anyway, yes, that is what I use it in. Andy Rabbit says, my lemon balm died every winter. I have never planted it in the ground, only in pots. Mine dies back every year. Yep, it does. Does chocolate mint actually taste like chocolate? No. If you close your eyes real hard and imagine, you might get a taste. I believe it's called chocolate mint because of the color. So it is a relative, or it's a variety, I think, of peppermint. So it's more on the peppermint taste, but it is definitely a distinct flavor. But the color of the stems are like a brown red color. So I think that's why it is that way. Yeah. Chocolate chip mint cookies. Ooh. So I did get the Asua Labs. They're supposed to come out in March. The essential oil machine, and that's one that I plan to do a lot of once I get this plant going again. But a lot of the herbs I want to do the oils because I think that would be really, really cool. So no, it does not taste like chocolate, unfortunately. Orlando's here. Hello, I'm late, but I'm here. Hi, Orlando. Welcome. We were talking about best advice for first-time gardeners, and now we're kind of just talking about plants. We talked about mushrooms. Yeah. Here we go. And you missed last week's talk. You're the only one that commented, oh yeah, I speak Spanish, and then weren't there. It's okay. Welcome. Eric says, I burned my Hawaiian pizza. Maybe I should have cooked it at Oahu temperature. Oh boy. Silly. Amy says, I have some mint that the hosta's overgrowth seemed to keep in check. I was so disappointed with my rosemary didn't overwinter last year. Yeah, I have peppermint in the back corner that, yes, I did plant in the ground kind of on purpose because it was underneath the trees and it was supposed to be a ground cover, and it was for a little bit, and I don't know that it's even still there. I did take some of it out and put it in a pot. Of course, it flowered, and so now I'm going to have little mints everywhere. But, yeah. It does, depending on what kind. Now, spearmint. My spearmint has decided that it's going to conquer the world. Yeah. when people come over, I always say, "You want some spearmint? Here." Crink. Pull up a whole bunch. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, take it. Because that used to be my strawberry bed. Yeah. Hostas are edible too, right? I've never had them, but I've heard that. Eric, Steve's calling you cute. Or at least you joke. All right. Andy Rabbit says, 1 year I had a big old scratch and sniff garden, many types of mints. Yeah. Amy says, don't mints cross-pollinate and kind of end up a mishmash of flavors. Yes. So mint, if you want a particular kind of mint, then you want to not have other mints there. Now, a plant isn't going to taste different because it's flower and another flower of different kind got together. That plant's going to taste the same, but their babies would even out. So Colgate or Crest, I don't remember which one. You guys can fact check me on this. One of them, and again, the soil type is also important to the taste of mint. I learn weird things in weird places. I learned this at the garlic festival one year from a guy who does garlic and mint. So anyway, he told me that up in Oregon, there is a particular kind of soil in the Willamette Valley that I forget if it's Crest or Colgate. It's one of the big toothpaste brands that they grow their mint on. And it's very specific that they must grow it there because the soil has what it needs to get that exact flavor. So probably has something to do with flavor. With a company that big would know that the soil type matters or not. So it's interesting. Amy says, my friend's is black. She is cute as a button. Cayenne burns no matter how you use it. Hence the language. Okay. Got it. Dawn says, oh, I forgot I need to start oregano from seed. I'll have to do it tomorrow. I lost the oregano patch last winter, so I need to replant it. Yeah, I don't know why sometimes they live through and sometimes they don't. And it's like sometimes the weather, it seems like it's the same as what it's been, but then they don't do it as well. Or yeah, there we go. Val says mint on lamb. Yep. Mint jelly, right? Mint jelly on lamb? I don't know. Vernon likes spicy mustard on lamb instead of mint. Okay. Amy says, I was going through my calendar last night, putting entries in for when to start seeds. That is smart, and I'm going to be doing that soon. Hey, everybody do this. Everybody type into another window, if you're able to, your zip code. And not into the chat, into another window of the internet. Your zip code and last frost date. And you'll get a date. What is this? There we go. Okay, I got a weird site. Let's go for a different site. First and last. Okay, I want a simpler answer, guys. Why is it going to that website? Okay, anyway. January. Why is it saying that? Anyway, when you have more time, do that. I think it's like April or something. I know it's November is the last frost date. March? Oh, I see what they're doing. So March 9, 80% chance that you're done. And April 28, 10% chance? They changed that on me. Anyway, you'll figure it out. Eric says, what kinds of tea does the queen drink? Royalty. Val says, my chocolate mint tastes like chocolate and very strong smell of chocolate if you rub it. It does have a different smell. Mine that I've always had doesn't. It's different than peppermint, but I wouldn't call it chocolate. Like there's orange mint and lemon mint, and when you rub that, it smells like orange or lemon. I don't think the association is as strong with the chocolate, but there might be a little bit of scent. But yeah, if you want chocolate, get yourself a chocolate tree or cocoa tree, cacao. Anyway, all right. You can smell chocolate in the chocolate mint plants when I rub the plants. You don't like mint much, so I never ate or drank any tea made of it. Okay. Oh, Andy or Amy. I keep saying Andy. Amy, you missed the shrooms talk. Ay caramba. You're planning on wine caps this year. Should be exciting. I have not. So I brought props out of my refrigerator after we talked about it for a little bit. I've never tried to grow. I have tried to grow chanterelles underneath oak trees with the stuff from chanterelles, but I've never tried to actually establish something other than that. And I don't know all of the things you're not supposed to eat, because that's more important than knowing the things you can, right? Dawn says, everyone have a great night. It's time for me to get offline for the night. Good night, Dawn. Thank you for coming. Orlando says, I was thinking if today everyone will speak Spanish. that was last week, Orlando. You're welcome to type it in. I'll just have to use Google Translate to understand most of it. Yeah, Steve says no habla. Andy Rabbit says, Amy, I'm going to do wine caps too, hopefully this year, and some log of mushrooms too. Awesome. And Verna says, started some oyster mushrooms tonight. So that's where we started the mushroom conversation, is Verna saying that. Yeah. Dawn says the U.S. is an English-speaking country. In general. There's a lot of Spanish. There's a lot of all sorts of languages. I like this one, Eric. As I expected, someone has been adding soil to my garden. The plot thickens. That's a good one. Oh boy. I hope no one has planted seeds of doubt. There we go. Yeah, you can do it. You can garden. Time to get to the root of the problem. Oh my gosh. Andy Rabbit, you think your husband has planted seeds of doubt? Hopefully not. And if they added fowl to your garden, you will have to plot chickens. Oh gosh. That brings up, so another thing with all these storms coming through, like we're having a couple weeks of rain come through, and at least this first storm, we're expecting a lot of rain, which means that's going to ground a lot of the birds in their migration route. And so I would expect, at least in our flyway, to have a lot more waterfowl in the San Francisco Bay and in the ponds and lakes and reservoirs and all that. And that waterfowl is basically where the reservoir for AI is. I mean, other birds have it as well, but they get it and they don't die from it typically. So they are really, really good at, spreading it. So that is something to consider where you're going, and, clean your shoes and maybe wear different shoes in your animals, your birds areas and all that. So there's your little warning. Amy says, last year I got all excited starting everything so early. The basement was a jungle. Yep. Verna says, mine is May 1st. I don't know why this is coming up with weird answers. National Gardening Association. Farmer's Almanac should have a straightforward thing. There we go. Farmer's Almanac. No, I don't. You don't need my email address. Okay, so March 8th. March 8 to November 20. 256 growing days. Yeah. And Farmer's Almanac is generally pretty good at guesstimating those things. And those are a guesstimate for sure. It could be outside of those times. Yeah. I fixed it this year. I'm hatching quail. There you go. April 4 is Steve's last frost date. So a lot of plants are 6 weeks before your last frost date, or 4 weeks before your last frost date is when you're supposed to plant them. So you can even put that into Google, like, hey, what's 6 weeks before this date? It'll come up with it, or you can just count it on a calendar. Yeah, there you go. Amy says, Saverna, do they taste like oysters? And there are many colors. What color are you growing? Amy says, Eric, jokes about sausage are the worst. Amy getting in on the fun. April 23 for Andy Rabbit. Competition. Gosh. Andy Rabbit says, pineapple mint really smells good. I had some of that and it did not last. It didn't grow well here, but it tasted good too. It smells really good. I had the one that was variegated, so it had like the green on the outside and the white on the inside of the leaf. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Verna says, one site says April 21st to 30th. Other site says May 1st. Well, at least it's close. I think what that's saying, I think you got the same answer, same type of answer I got my first time searching, whereas they want to be like, well, it should be this, but just in case, maybe push it out a couple weeks. I think that's what it was saying. Yeah. Steve says, what would be a gardener's favorite Beatles song? Let Us Be. A mushroom was told he's not allowed into the party. The mushroom asked, why not? I'm a fungi. I have heard that one. How much room should you give a fungi to grow? As much room as possible. That's pretty good. Oh boy. So Verna's answering what oyster mushroom she's doing is pearl and pink. I don't think they taste like oysters, really. They just taste good. So I actually saw in the store the other day, Knob Hill, I think. They had like a mushroom packet like this. And for those joining, I did have this as a prop later. I had to go get out of the fridge. I don't generally keep mushrooms on my couch. Although you never know, right? And it was like that, but it was it had like 4 or 5 different types of mushrooms in it. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah. Steve is saying, Katrina, rain, do we need to have the discussion again? We are trying to dump as much as possible here before it goes to you, Steve. You should be thanking me. Oh boy. I don't remember. Actually, I don't remember because I don't know. How about that? I have not looked to see where the trajectory of the storm is. I just know that it's here. I haven't looked at a radar or anything. Yeah. Eric says, when your wife starts a sentence with, when you get a chance, go ahead and start putting your shoes on. She means now. For those that don't know what this means, that means correct. And Verna says, you got that right, Eric. Buster's laughing at you. Verna says, Hoogie? Did I say that right? Hoogie Homestead's eggs are hatching today. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Man, Steve, you came prepared. When does the gardener dance? When he drops a beat. Oh, Ed says, sorry guys, I'm listening, not feeling my best tonight. Ed, take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to make yourself feel well. And I hope that you are feeling well soon. Yeah, I hope Wendy's feeling well too. And that she's able to cheer you up. Get some things going. And Verna says, better take care of yourself. Absolutely. And says, Steve, those are Eric's jokes. I know. He's trying to bump in on your territory, Eric. Oh, boy. Eric says, how to tell someone they are stupid nicely. Wisdom has been chasing you, but you have always been faster. Oh, boy. Val says, hope you feel better soon, Ed. Absolutely. Steve says he wasn't doing gardening jokes. Uh-oh. That says thanks. All right. Eric says, bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I think he laced them with something because I've been tripping all day. Oh my gosh. That's not gardening related. Oh boy. Those mushrooms make for good snacks. The oyster mushrooms? Yeah. Val. Amy says, Katrina, you may keep the mushrooms next to the potatoes on the couch. Did I have potatoes here one time? They're not there anymore. Oh boy. Eric says, Ed hasn't seen my anime. I still need to turn Ed and Wendy into anime. There you go. You guys can talk about that. All right. Amy says, Ed, I hope you get to feeling better. Ran across your jewelry ordering info today and thought of you from QuailCon. Aw. There you go. Common sense rare commodity can put it on the stock exchange. Oh boy. Shoes related. Couch potatoes. Oh my gosh, you guys are funny tonight. I obviously might be still tired from yesterday. You remember when pork belly is a commodity? I don't. Oh boy. Yeah. So the quail are laying again. Some of them. I'm hoping they tell the other girls to hurry up. My plan was to hatch more right after the other hatch, but then of course they stopped laying. So when I was ready. And so now it's called bacon. Oh my gosh. So I'm hoping that they start going soon so that I can start collecting eggs and have like a real big hatch, as I would like to do that. The males out of this last batch that survived, I have to actually look at them closer, but none of them are actually like very big. There was one big one that ended up passing. I was like, oh, this is the one. And then he didn't live. So I am going to do that again. I'm going to process some of them. I might try and integrate some with the jumbos, just see what might happen. I have to look at their sizes though. I really do. Yeah. And then, I mean, they don't have light on them right now because they're in with the other guys. I will be doing an experiment, which if you are on the, it's going to go into the Quail University course, Raising Quail in Aviaries. And so that, if you guys want to see that, I mean, it's not even out yet, but I'll be doing a video on that. I had the lights out on purpose there. So hopefully I can put them back on here soon and those guys will start going. But my point is when I pick those from the main area aviary into the raviary, they should have a couple weeks before they start getting their mature behavior going. There you go. If you hunt quail in a cotton field, would they be cotton squabs? Oh boy. Are piglets bacon bits or bacon seeds? I think they're bacon seeds. Yeah. Yes, they're bacon seeds because they have yet to grow. Yeah, I think we need Aaron to get in on that. On Aaron and Christina to get in on that. They have bacon seeds right now. A hunting pigeon? Steve? Oh, pork belly. It's been kind of a junk food kind of day. Hey, I understand that. I understand that, Amy. Totally. Val says, mine are laying really well. I sent my daughter home with 8 packs of 18. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I have been getting 3. Now I only have like I think 14 girls in the aviary right now, and that's part of why I hatched these other ones. I wanted to show something about the lack of light, and then move them into those guys. So they'll be integrating as adults, which is not usually what I do, but I have done that successfully. So we'll see if it works successfully, and go from there. But at least they don't have their breeding hormones going yet. Over in the other, or to be moved over in the other one. So hopefully it'll be less of a issue. Anyway, there you go. Females are bacon seeds, males are bacon pits. Oh boy. Bacon seeds exist? Yeah, it was Aaron who says I call them bacon seeds. Yeah, so bacon seeds are baby pigs. Yeah. I can grow bacon with bacon seeds if you get 2. Verna says, you know those 30-pack of pedigree pouches of dog food. In 1 week, I can nearly fill that box. With what? What? I'm confused, Verna. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Add water and run. Aaron says, Eric, technically, if you buy a bacon seed, it will grow into bacon. There you go. There you go. All right. Have a good one, Eric. Thank you for joining us. And I hope you continue on a wellness path that is positive. Good. Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you, Verna. Quail eggs. So you can fill the box full of eggs. Got it. Yeah, I'm excited to get back to some more eggs. The chicken singular, Miss Rexy has been giving us an egg almost every day for a while now. Her sisters will catch up at some point. It's so funny. She always starts really early and then she lays extra late. She's just a really good layer. So, and she's the smallest of all 3 of them. So it's pretty funny. Val says, I've got so many, it becomes overwhelming. Think of what to do with them all. Val, make pasta. Yeah. Or make salt cured egg yolks. Because that ends up making it into like cheese. Like you can make basically cheese from egg yolks by salt curing them. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. Amy says, I'm headed to bed, up way too early. It's been fun. Very fun. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining us, Amy. And good night. Have a good night. Verna says, my dining table is full of eggs, waiting for me to get them ready for the freeze dryer. Awesome. How many eggs fit in you have a medium, right? How many eggs fit in a medium tray? I'm just curious. Peas and carrots. Good night. Steve says make quiche and freeze them. Yep, you can do that. You can do that. You can make quiche and freeze them. You can do, I think pasta is a really good one that you can do. And we just made on our, I should bring these things up, huh? Quiche sounds easier. True. Quiche sounds easier. But we have a Cook With Me live that I do every month. And I'm going to have to work on scheduling it this month because I have a bunch of things to go to in the weekends. So I have to figure out what day works. But this last month, we made pear butter ricotta ravioli with a roasted garlic cream sauce. And that was fantastic and so yummy. And I'm just going to put this it's becoming one of Katrina's kits to cook with me live. There we go. And Verna says, Katrina, I don't count those things. It would make me tired. Yep, true. Okay. And Andy Rabbit says, in a half-gallon mason jar, you can fit around 80 quail eggs. You know, I did a video about cracking them in. I think I did. I don't know why this is in my head. I think I did 77 in a quart. I don't know why that's in my head, but I have a video doing that. All right. You should be able to do 48 eggs per medium tray. Okay. Cool. I haven't done the eggs yet because I was using them, and then when I had time, and then the freeze dryer was being used for other things, and then I'm like, okay, now I have time, but I have no eggs. So it'll happen. It'll happen. And I think it's a tremendous idea to do that. Like, it makes so much sense to do that. Yeah. Steve wants to know, do I have a Facebook group? In other words, hey, you should put that link. Yes, Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group is this link here. And I'll put the website too. How about that? Just so you guys have multiple information. There you go. Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group. If you join that, make sure you answer all the questions and accept the rules, because if you don't, then we think you're not a real person and we won't accept you. But it's a lot of fun. All right. Oh, yes, she does, Buster. Buster's asking Andy, do you like your egg peeler? How about this? I'm going to revise his question. How much do you like your egg peeler? Brenda says, if you freeze them in different types of ice cube trays, then you will have an easier way to handle them. Okay. So if they're smaller to begin with, like in small frozen chunks. Interesting. Andy Rabbit says, so you saying you didn't buy a big enough freeze dryer? No, I am saying that it was full. Like when the peaches are in season, it's like, okay, you're all peaches. And when this, we had full things. Yeah. I could do a whole lot more if I had more time to prep. Because the thing about, so I do have a large one. And the thing about having a large one is a lot fits in it. And you do need quite a bit of time to prep it to go in, depending on what you're doing. So, yeah. Yeah. But I like it. And Andy says, I love my egg peeler. Hello. Oh, hi, kitty. You want to bring him over here? We can show people. Manuel just got home and opened the door, and the cat came in the house. Not our cat. No, you got to pick him up. I think you have to pick him up. We might get a cat visitor. Just pick him up. He's not going to come over here. He just likes to come in and wander. I don't know what's up with him. All right. Erin says, my egg peeler works great. Sometimes she tells me I can't have goats, but I'll keep her around. Erin, no. Is she still on? Oh, everybody's laughing. I don't know if Christina's laughing, but everybody's laughing. Val says, was it worth the money, Andy, the egg peeler? They are expensive. If you use it, it is worth it. It was totally worth it. If you don't use it and just sits on the counter, then it might still be worth it that few times a year that you use it, Yeah. Yep. Steve says, so his name is Not Our Cat. No, it can't be Not Our Cat because Not Our Cat was a different cat. And then there was a cat after that that was called Not Our Cat. And we call this one Little Gray Kitty, but I've recently been calling him Beep Beep because he goes beep, beep, and I beep back at him, and it's really funny. I just heard him. I think Manuel's trying to get him. Are you getting him?
I don't want to grab him.
Why don't you want to grab him?
I don't want to get clawed.
He won't claw you.
Come here.
Here, put that down. You guys want to see the cat? Do you guys care? All right. Oh, Erin's in trouble. Right as I hit that send on that comment, she walked in. Trouble. Because I'm going to say it later. Brenna says, you say not my cat, but the cat say you are his people. Oh my gosh. This morning, I was in the kitchen, and so there is you guys have seen him on the bench, that red bench. It's in the front on the porch right next to the kitchen window. And he was on top of the bench looking in the window. And then later tonight, he just jumped up on top of the mailbox for no reason. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Ed says, Katrina, have you worn your quail foot necklace lately? How is it holding up? I have not, mostly because I forget to wear jewelry. I'm home, I work from home, and then I forget to wear it. So I will try and wear them more often. I should. They're good pieces of jewelry, and I appreciate them. So yeah, it's holding up very well. I think what I need to do is I need to add something, or maybe crimp that end metal piece so it doesn't slip off, because that's what happened at QuailCon, is it slipped off. Yeah, I think other than that, it's good. Andy Rabbit says, I suggest to anyone that likes hard-boiled quail eggs, to get one. Even if you just peel eggs once a week, it's worth it. Yes, they are worth the money. Yep. C says, so not our cat means it was your cat. Says Andy, I have one. They are worth it. I agree. And Val says, it's good to hear. I will get one now. Good. You don't own cats, they own you, Ed says. That's true. Three different cats has found this house. Well, more than three, but three that don't wreak havoc on plants. Hi, sweetie. You want to come here? Come here. Hi. Hello. I'm going to pick you up, and you're going to like it. Yeah, you're going to like it. So this is Little Gray Kitty, who recently has wanted to come inside. Why do you want to come inside if you don't want to cuddle? What? Anyway, there he was. He's done. It's funny. Sometimes he'll complain, and then I'll pet him, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is kind of nice," and start purring. And other times he'll be like, "No, we're not doing this." Oh boy. Which one did you buy? Yeah, I bought whatever was on Amazon. I didn't even know that it had a brand. Brenda says, Val, I have problems with them. Both the manual and electric have to stop and clean them often. Sometimes the eggshell can go around and around and around. I think keeping a little bit of water on the rollers is it kind of fixes that problem. And then if you just put your finger lightly, not to go through, on the roller, then that kind of breaks it up a little bit. There he goes. He's had enough. He's going outside. Oh. All right. Andy says, Val, you won't be sad you did. Just keep it wet and let the eggs cool before peeling them. Absolutely. Yeah. I have a video about that. Maybe I can find it. I think I did. I think it was a deviled egg video that I did. And then I did it. I think it's like deviled egg and peeling. Let me look it up. There we go. Where's the link? Really, where's the link? There's no link. There it is. Okay, here's the link to using an egg peeler. And hopefully that will go to the right spot. Some tips and tricks in there. Kind of old video. I should do one again. Okay. Then again, I have problems with electric can opener. Oh, Verna. I thought I heard something like that. Yeah. So I think there's there are tips and tricks to using it. And part of that is, so what I do is I actually use my New Wave, which is like an Instapot. It's a pressure cooker to do the hard boiling of the eggs, not boiling, it's steaming and pressure. But I use that, and you don't want to do that for like if you're using it for basically if you don't care that the egg yolk is up against the side. So if you're pickling eggs, that's not a good choice. If you're picky about things, it's not a good choice. But if you're making deviled eggs, it's a great choice because I use deviled eggs. I use the good sides, and then the other half I use for egg salad. Like that's how I make two things at once, and it's really good. And so I use it for like, I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 minutes, but it's just a couple minutes in the New Wave, and then you depressurize, take off the top, and then put that into ice water. And what I do is I put in the ice water in a bowl, and I put that in the refrigerator, and then I deal with it the next day. And so they're nice and cold, and I crack them, kind of roll them or shake them in a bowl, and I put them back in the water. And then that takes a little bit of time to get the water in between the membrane and the egg. And then it comes off really easy after that, but it's super easy to put it on the roller when it's on, and it peels it for you. So it's really easy if you follow those steps. And if you crack it too much, then it becomes very frustrating. So it needs to be cracked, but not like obliterated. So there's a balance, and there's kind of a learning curve on that. Yeah. Steve says, hello, little gray kitty. He looks like a big gray kitty. So he showed up. Okay. My perception was that he showed up randomly. The real thing that happened is that neighbors on the corner across the way that are no longer there, who are renting the place, they got a kitten. That's what showed up. So he was out playing, jumping onto my front fence and jumping off. I'm across the street, right? It's super small kitten. And he was playing with Not Our Cat, which is why his name can't be Not Our Cat. And Not Our Cat was like a full-grown cat. And it was jumping back and forth. And, Not Our Cat was like, okay, I'll play with you. And so he was doing that. And as far as I knew, it was some dumped cat. Like I didn't know who it was with or anything. And it always hung out in the yard, just like Not Our Cat always hung out in the yard. But I've come to find out it belonged to the neighbors across and over on the corner. And they, I guess when they did their paperwork, they didn't speak English, and it was easier to do things in English. And so their neighbor came with them to the vet to do the paperwork, and it was just easier to do the paperwork under her name. Anyway, they ended up moving, and they dumped him. And then, so my other neighbor had to go get him, break him out of jail, pay the fine, all that, because her name was on the paperwork, which kind of sucks. But anyway, she feeds him, but he's in my yard all the time. So anyway, there's his story. And he's quite a girthy cat right now. I'm wondering if he's catching some extra fast food. Yeah. All right. Yeah, big gray kitty. Oh, Andy says it's $76.99 with 10% off right now. Ooh, mine was more expensive than that, so that's a good bargain. That's awesome. Yeah. Not a bad price. They were a lot more here. I will look on Amazon again. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they were a lot higher when you look too. I think I bought it when it was higher, which I was like, do I need this? Do I need this? I'm like, yeah, I need this. Now I need eggs. Yeah. Thank you for posting that, Brenna. Do you think cats can get worms from eating mice? Cats can get worms from doing a lot of things. I don't know how that transfers, so I'm not clear on how that might happen, but sure, if a mouse has worms, it could be transferred to a cat. I don't see why it wouldn't. I hope it doesn't. I'm picking up the cat. Yeah, it's really funny. He's very affectionate, and he wants to go with me to feed the rabbits. He wants to go with me when I'm outside, but he doesn't want to he wants to play, but he doesn't want to be picked up, and he doesn't want you to do too much. It's really funny. It kind of goes back to what spending time with an animal looks like. I talked about that a while ago when I was spending time with the chickens. After I'd been gone for a few days, I went in there and they're like, "Oh, hey, yay!" And I gave them scratchies and they cuddled with me and all that. And then they just kind of went off and did their thing. And I'm like, okay. And then I sat in there for a while and I decided, okay, well, I'm done. You're not paying attention to me. I guess you don't need to be in there anymore. And then I went to leave, and as soon as I opened the door, they come running over like, "What are you doing? We were doing things together. What are you doing?" And so that gives a little perspective of when an animal thinks they're doing something with you, it might be different than what you think they're doing something. Yeah. Brenna says stray cats usually do have worms. Yep. Yeah. So he's being taken care of by a neighbor. She has her own cats inside, which are not tolerant of new cats. So basically, she feeds them the collar. He's had so many collars. She gives him a collar with a little bell. He's really good at birding. And so I think he's taken care of in that respect. And I mean, his belly's full enough. And he's always lounging in the yard on one of the chairs or on the bench in the front. I mean, he's always is. And I know sometimes he goes in the back by the aviary on the other side of the fence. There's like an open shed. And I know he spends time in there when it's raining sometimes. So he has a good territory. Val says we had a big black one up here, and the cottage down the road had left him. Myself and a neighbor jointly looked after it. Well, I say jointly. I bought the food and paid the vet bills. There you go. Well, what's funny about this neighbor, she didn't know that he was coming over here. And the one before that, not our cat, she was feeding him too. But he would live over here and eat over there. And she's like, yeah, his name over here was not our cat. And his name over there was Buddy. And she came across sometime, "Have you seen Buddy?" I'm like, "Who's Buddy?" "Oh, the cat that's here." I'm like, "Oh, that's not our cat." "Yeah, he's on my front porch." "What?" "Oh, yeah, he's on the front porch all the time." So this cat's actual name, I can tell you his actual name. I think it's either Mochi or Michi. I think it's Mochi is his actual name, but he doesn't answer to it. So anyway, there we go. All right. Andy Rabbit says, my cat hears the mouse trap go off and then he will go get the mouse and eat it. He is getting a bit skinny, so I wonder when we catch one downstairs, my hubby gives him the mouse. Steve says, when this stray walks with me, she walks between my feet, nearly trip every day. Yeah, that's what he does when I go out to do the bunnies, to feed them. He walks right in front of me. He wants pets, but not too much. But he needs them now. Yeah. Val says half the street is feeding this one. So that is there was a study, I don't remember who did it, but there was a study about cats going between, like, they actually tracked it, put a tracker on it and a video, and see where it went. And it was going all over and getting, it had a different name at every house. It had, different treats at every house. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, for sure. Yeah. So he's been wanting to get into the screen and porch lately, and I did have him stay the night in there once. Should probably do that again. We did see a young rat in the porch and saw where he got out of, but where he got out of is a long slit at the top, so kind of hard to close up. But I don't know if he got him or not. I figure, if you left something there, we might smell it a few weeks later. But anyway, yeah, he did stay the night in the porch. What was that, last week? Week before, I think. I don't know. Verna says, crazy cat lady here feeds all the strays and has at least a dozen in her apartment. She spends, before COVID, $600 a month on cat food. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really mind him that much because he doesn't tear up the place. Before Not Our Cat claimed territory here, I think it was Mr. Prince. The neighbor down the way has two cats, Mr. Prince and Mr. King. I think it was Mr. Prince. He would come down and he would just poop in the beds and, scrape up all the seedlings and stuff. And I was quite pissed at that. But Not Our Cat didn't do that. Not Our Cat didn't do that. And this little gray kitty didn't do it either. And so that's good. And yeah, I think I have opinions on truly stray cats. And in my opinion, if you feed a cat, it's yours. That's my opinion. And it should go home with you. They can wreak havoc on the environment. They do kill just for fun or just for whatever, entertainment. I don't know. But they don't just kill for eating. And a lot of people have misconceptions that, hey, if I give it food, it won't kill birds. That's not true. I'm a biologist. I know these things. Yeah, they will continue to kill the birds and the rats and the mice and all that. So I think there's a place for cats, like on farms where there's lots of mice and rodents to take care of that and all that. I have opinions. And I still haven't fed this cat, so Not Our Cat. They say dogs have owners and cats have slaves, Val says. Yeah, the one I've heard is dogs think they're humans. Cats know they're God. That's one I've seen. Andy says the trap is under the kitchen cabinet. He doesn't go in the cabinet until he hears the trap. I don't even know how he learned what the noise was, but he will open the cabinet and get the mouse and leave the trap in front of the hubby chair. Oh boy, I have a weird cat. I know. No, he just knows where he knows how to get refills. That's what he knows. Verna says, Val, I had a guard cat, a big black guard cat. We called her Mama Kitty. In Missouri, MO, if you feed an animal for 3 days in a row, it's your animal. Is that a law? I think it should be the law. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind if he became our cat. Like he's a pretty good cat. He stays over here anyway. I think why cats are mostly attracted to the yard is because there usually isn't a dog in it. Now, that being said, I've dog sit for several people and there could be a dog in the yard at any time. But I think that's why. But that's fine. The quail have grown up with him around. I mean, he goes on top of the main quail aviary under the tarp on top of the hardware cloth. And he'll just be like, hi, birds. watch them from above, and they're fine with it. It's really funny. Steve says ours likes to leave mice and moles on our porch for us. Oh, how lovely! Refills, exactly, Andy. Refills. I mean, if he's bringing the trap to him, he obviously knows that if he sets the trap, there was going to be a refill. Smart cat. Val says here in UK we have 7-day rule. If no one claims a dog or cat, it's yours. All right. It is a law, Andy Rabbit says. Okay. I mean, I think that's good because then you have a responsibility for it. I mean, here there are tons of people who take care of feeding stations. And there's one feeding station, my friend and I were birding next to the bay in a protected area for birds. And someone had just refilled a cat feeding station, and we kind of had a conversation. My friend went off on her, and she's like, I got him fixed. And you took it to the vet, and you're feeding it. Take it home. Don't put it out in the wilderness where there's obviously it's gonna kill things. So yeah, I have opinions. Oh boy. Verna says in Lucas County, Ohio, if you feed a cat, it is yours. See, I haven't fed this cat. Oh, it was a law if they didn't change that. That is, they probably wouldn't unless it was challenged. There's no reason for them to spend time on something like that unless it's challenged, which could be challenged, You guys know about ginger people? Not like redheaded people, but they're called the ginger people. I put some ginger stuff in my tea. I'll get you guys a link. There we go. So these guys make stuff. They're local-ish. I think they're in Marina. I'm just saying this because it's, in my tea, and I'm enjoying it, and I like ginger. Anyway, you guys should check that out. I don't know what to ship. I could be telling you guys all stuff that you can't get, but they are local and they make a really good product. It's pretty cool. No, not red hair people. No, they make stuff out of ginger. Like the one I have is it's like a ginger. It's not a syrup. It's more like a honey texture or honey, texture, but it's sugarcane and ginger, but it's good in tea. But they have all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And like candied ginger candy. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, I'm not like sponsored by them or anything. I was just enjoying their product. Oh boy. Andy says, I guess you're right. I get up first most days. I would find the trap and toss it in front of the hubby's chair and a few times. Now every time it's in front of his chair. Training the cat. If you feed a cat once, it knows to come back from worry. Yep, Steve. Verna says, personally, I feel if you are feeding a feral animal, then you should take it to the vet and get the dang thing fixed. Yep. Oh, you can claim ownership after 7 days, even if it's microchipped. I mean, if it's been abandoned or it's not being taken care of properly, that makes sense. Unless it's lost, I would say, the vet should be, take it to the vet, get it looked at, and then if they have a microchip, call the person. And it's very sad when the people don't come for their animals. Yeah. Oh, Andy says, I bought some elderberry, ginger, and cinnamon syrup. It's pretty good. That sounds lovely. Val says, it looks nice, so we'll look properly later. Yep. Yeah, they're I think they're in Marina. I think so. Does it say really quick where they are? Let's see under contact us if it says. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know. They're in Marina in North America. They're in Europe. They're in UK and Australia. Now we know. And Val, you have a better chance at getting it then. That's interesting. I thought they were just in Marina. All right. And Steve says we had our stray fixed right after she gave us a litter of kittens. Yep. Val says, good night, everyone. Thank you for a lovely evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And there's ginger people in UK too. I thought they were just local, but they are local and local and international. There's one in North America. I wonder how they form these relationships, how they decided where to do that. Anyway, they're good stuff. They're good stuff. All right, so somebody's getting a egg peeler and that'll be good. Britta says the animal shelter I got Lucy from had tried for over a month to reach her previous owners, and the people never returned the call. Good for me. I got one heck of a dog. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yep. Oh, Val says that's why I'm going back to look. Yeah, I did not know that until now. Now I know that. What a random thing. They should sponsor me. Yeah, no, they have good stuff. And the ginger chews, like, I don't know, ginger I love, and the ginger chews are addicting. And it's, all it is sugar and maybe tapioca or something and ginger. It was good stuff. Andy says, my mom and dad would catch any cats that got in their live trap, take them to get fixed, and release them again. Yeah. Yeah, just don't release them into a special wildlife area. Right? Yeah. Love the smell of fresh ginger. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ginger in all its forms. Candied ginger, can be done wrong. I will say that. Candied ginger can have way too much sugar in it. Because I actually like the spiciness of it. I think people try and get that out. There was one time, so I was doing some field work in Taft area, so down past Bakersfield, and they were putting up some initial fencing for this conservation land. And so I was out there with a bunch of guys, I was doing the monitoring for the wildlife, and they would stop at like 10 o'clock for their snack time, their first break. And, super hot out there. And, they would get out their tacos and, all of that. And they saw I didn't have anything to eat. And so, oh, here, have a taco. I'm like, I'm not hungry yet. And anyway, so then I had to train myself to go, okay, I just need to eat something. I need to plan to have something to eat. Yeah, part of my lunch earlier in the day. And so I would make these little wraps, just like a turkey and veggie and stuff wraps. And I would put sliced fresh ginger on it, just raw. And the guys were pretty funny one time. Challenge. They're like, oh, I bet you can't eat this. So they're hot pepper stuff. And the Mexican guys, they have a lot of peppers involved. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good one. And then I go, what about this? And they're like, what's that? And because ginger isn't really like a cultural food there. And it was really funny because raw ginger, if you've not bitten into raw ginger and not expected it, it's very different than what it might look like. And it has that spicy flavor. And it was really funny because it was too hot for him. It was really funny because he was challenging me on hot peppers, and it was funny. Anyway, there's a story. Verna says, I had a Roddy that loved homemade crystallized ginger. Every time I opened the cupboard where I kept it, Max would be there right away. There, it's good. It's good. Okay, they released the back of their house. Yeah. Yeah, Steve says, I was just going to say I was going to pickle or candy some ginger. So pickled ginger, like, it's not something I would choose to do with ginger. But if I go out to eat with other people and they have sushi, which I don't like, fish should be alive and should be looked at, right? I don't need to eat fish. Um, and and they have that pickled ginger. It's usually like dyed pink. I'm not even sure what the pink is. I like that, and I'll eat that. But it's not something I would necessarily go after. But it's good. And Brenna says, I bought some rice paper going to make apple egg rolls. That sounds good. With cinnamon? I would add cinnamon to that. Yeah, that sounds really good. I've never bought rice paper. I probably should and do some spring roll stuff. That would be good. Oh, because of the chemical reaction is the vinegar? I didn't know that, Verna. I just knew it was always pink. I'm like, what did they add to it? Yeah. I guess it's like, doesn't garlic get blue or something? Something like that. There's some sort of chemical reaction with garlic too. Someone gave me some ginger tea, but I don't like it. Is it just ginger? Or so I'm drinking what I thought was ginger tea, and I did not read the ingredients, and it's really black tea with a very, 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 very little amount of ginger. And I'm like, why call this ginger tea? So that's why I added the ginger, extra ginger in it. And it's good now. Sue says, yeah, garlic gets a bluish tint or spot on it. Yeah, I've never done that either. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Verna, I will call you, not tonight, but I'll call you later. Sounds good. Oh, in your pickled eggs, you get the spot? You think it was just ginger tea? My neighbor gets something in Washington, D.C. that she brought back. And it's like a granulated something, but is the best ginger tea ever. But it's like, it's almost like, you know how powdered hot chocolate, like hot chocolate powder, it dissolves in water? It's like that, but I don't know what's in it, and it's written in a different language. It's like in Chinese or something, one of the character languages. It's really, really good. I have no idea what's in it, but yeah. Yeah, ginger can be one of my favorite spices, and you can grow it pretty much anywhere if you grow it inside, and bring it inside in the winter. Because I grew ginger and turmeric. I grew, and then I grew so much of it, and then it rained, and I thought, oh, this is California. It can stay in the ground. No, if it rains a lot, it rots, and then you don't have ginger or turmeric. I think there is one turmeric still out there that's just keep growing, and I just keep it there. But yeah, it needs to be pulled up every year if you have rain, probably freezing too, and unless you live in a subtropical area, yeah. All right, Verna's going. Blessings all. Have to take care of the freeze dryer. I think I'm headed out too, unless you guys have another tidbit of information. All right. Ingredients: ginger, turmeric, rabbit poop, and green tea. One of those should not be in the cup. I don't like green tea either. I'm weird. I like green tea or chamomile. Something weird about it. Yeah, in the tea. No, we're not encouraging this. No, this one tasted like, it was like straight up ginger, like that spicy that you get from eating raw ginger. It was that powerful, like good cheese feeling. of good ginger. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to say goodnight, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being involved. Hopefully the people that come after and watch the replay will have a good first best advice for first gardeners in the middle there. And yeah, if anybody knows more about mushrooms, I think that was our main other topic tonight. So yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you guys next Monday, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we'll see you throughout the week. Have a good one. Good night.